Report writing is an essential skill that is used in various fields and industries. Knowledge of writing reports is important in the field of cybersecurity because it is essential to have a clear and accurate record of any security incidents that occur. Hi, my name is Roy Borgen and I'm ShieldTech's founder and CEO. Report writing is in many ways its own genre, with its own set of rules. Unfortunately, how to write reports is usually not taught in schools as part of the education for IT professionals. It is nevertheless an important skill to master. Report writing is something you get good at with time and experience, and the only way to get really good at it is by actually writing it. This training will not make you good at report writing. However, it will provide you with a solid understanding of the fundamentals of report writing based on the teachings from law enforcement. In this lesson, we'll look at the fundamentals of report writing. We'll start by talking about what a report actually is and its purpose. We'll talk about who reports are written for, and I'm quite confident that you'll be surprised at how many parties might have an interest in reading your report. We'll touch on different types of reports and provide a general guideline for report writing. And lastly, we'll look at the report's setup and structure. A cybersecurity report is a document that provides a detailed account of a cybersecurity incident or investigation. It includes information about the incident or investigation, such as the scope, the methods used, the findings, and the impact of the incident. The report may also provide recommendations for preventing similar incidents in the future. Cybersecurity reports are typically written by cybersecurity professionals and are intended to inform stakeholders, such as management, legal, compliance teams, and technical staff about the details of an incident or an investigation. The goal of a cybersecurity report is to provide accurate and accountable information that can be used to improve the organization's cybersecurity posture and protect against future incidents. When writing reports, it is important to keep in mind that it might be read by a large audience, some of which might not have a technical competence. Common audience for cybersecurity reports include management, to provide information on the status of the incident, the performance of the team, or a result of an investigation to superiors or managers. Stakeholders, to keep clients, investors, or partners informed about the progress of an incident or the result of an investigation. Regulators, to meet legal obligations for reporting incidents to government regulators or other oversight bodies. Customers, to address complaints or feedbacks and provide information about incidents to customers. Peers or colleagues, to share information about an incident, findings, and lessons learned within the organization. Security, IT professionals, to provide details on an incident, incident response, and remediation steps taken. This can be both internally and externally. Law enforcement, to report and assist law enforcement agencies in gaining a comprehensive understanding of a crime or suspicious activity and aid in investigations. Lawyers, to support legal arguments and presenting evidence in court. Courts, to be submitted as evidence in court or as part of a legal filing. Insurance companies, to assess claims, determining liability, and paying out benefits to policyholders when handling insurance claims for incidents, such as cybercrime, accidents, theft, and damage to property. As you can see, there are numerous parties that may have a need to read your reports. The reports must be written in a way that meets the requirements of the legal system, is factually accurate, objective, and admissible in court. The language used in these reports should be precise and clear, avoiding any ambiguity, and should be written in a way that is easily understood by non-experts such as lawyers and judges. When it comes to managing cybersecurity incidents, there are several types of reports that are worth mentioning. Each report serves a specific purpose and provides information on different aspects of the incident and the investigation. Overall, these reports aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of all the steps taken during a cybersecurity investigation. It is important to document the incident in a clear and concise manner, so that someone who was not directly involved in the investigation can easily understand the details and the outcome. This includes documenting not only the positive outcomes of the investigation, but also the negative results. Positive findings refers to the result of an investigation that indicate a security incident or vulnerability has occurred, and often provide actionable information for remediating the problem. On the other hand, negative findings refer to the result of an investigation that did not reveal any security incident or vulnerabilities, and often provide important context for understanding the scope and limitations of the investigation. Thorough documentation is important not only to provide parties outside the incident response team with information, but can also be useful for the investigation team. It may be hard to remember details of the investigation 1 to 2 years later when the case reaches a court of law. Detailed reports serve as a valuable reference and can help the team remember the steps taken during the investigation. In a court of law, the principle of oral evidence applies, meaning that the court normally relies on the testimony of witnesses rather than written reports. This means that the incident response team must be prepared to give account of their investigation and findings in a court of law, and a detailed report can be helpful to refresh their memory. This slide provides an overview of the different types of reports in a cybersecurity investigation. The incident report provides a detailed overview of the incident, including the timeline, affected systems, cause, impact, and resolution. It also includes findings from the initial investigation, a root cause analysis, and lessons learned. The investigation report provides a detailed account of specific steps taken by the incident response team during the investigation. This report includes details about an evidence collection process, investigation activities, scope of the investigation, methods used, and findings. The interview report is used in cases where individuals are interviewed as part of the investigation. This report provides a summary of the interview, including the questions asked, the answers provided, and relevant observations. These reports are sometimes in law enforcement referred to as interrogation reports. Forensics reports provide a detailed analysis of the digital evidence collected during the investigation, including information on how the incident occurred, who was responsible, and what data was affected. This report may include information on the tools and techniques used during the forensics analysis, as well as the result. Let's look at some general guidelines for report writing. As previously noted, incident report writing is a unique genre with its own set of considerations to keep in mind. We're going to dive a little deeper into each of these bullet points. Let's start off with using correct language. It is important that reports are written with a good and correct use of the English language, or whatever other native language you use. For law enforcement, their reports are considered public documents. This is not necessarily the case for private companies. However, if a cybersecurity incident ends up in a court of law, all documents related to that investigation will become public documents. For this reason, it is important that reports are easy to read and that they contain few misspellings. Use short sentences and explain one thing at a time. Short sentences are generally considered to be better than long ones in report writing, because they are easier to read and understand. Short sentences are more direct and specific, which helps to communicate the main idea more clearly and effectively. They also make it easier for the reader to follow the flow of the report and to focus on the key points. Short sentences are also more visually appealing on the pages, and they make it easier for the reader to scan the report quickly. And it also helps to break up the text, which makes the report less dense and easier to read. Short sentences also help to create a sense of emphasis. When a short sentence is used to convey a key point, it makes it stand out and more likely to be remembered. Long sentences can be more complex and harder to follow. They often contain multiple clauses and ideas, which make it difficult for the reader to understand the main point. They also contain more opportunities for errors, such as grammatical mistakes or awkward phrasing. When writing incident reports, it's important to be as objective as possible. Objectivity refers to the ability to present information in a neutral and unbiased manner, free from personal opinions or emotions. This means that the report shall be based on facts and evidence, rather than assumptions or speculations. Objectivity is important in report writing, as it helps to ensure that the information presented is reliable and credible. It helps to avoid confusion, misinterpretations, and factual misunderstandings. It also helps to maintain the integrity of the report and to ensure that it is perceived as fair and impartial by its readers. Documenting who did what is important in cybersecurity reports because it helps to provide an audit trail of the activity that took place. This documentation can be used to analyze what happened, who was involved, and what steps were taken to address the issue. By documenting who did what, organizations can ensure that their cybersecurity reports are accurate and comprehensive. It is also important if the case should end up in a court of law. If it is not documented who did what, it might be hard to remember this later when witnesses are to be called for court proceedings. This might result in important pieces of evidence being discarded, as one cannot guarantee the origin or authenticity of it. It is important to avoid abbreviations in reports because they can be difficult to interpret and can lead to confusion and misunderstandings. Abbreviations can sometimes be used to mask certain information or hide the true meaning of a report. Abbreviations can make a report seem more complicated than it is, which can lead to misinterpretations. By avoiding abbreviations, reports can be more easily understood and can be more accurate and comprehensive. This helps to ensure that the report is accurate and that the information contained within is clear and unambiguous. If abbreviations needs to be used, as it often is in cybersecurity, it is important that they are explained to the reader what they mean and what they are. Keep in mind that reports can be read by people of various backgrounds. What is obvious and basic for the report writer might not be so for the person reading the report. A proper report setup and structure is important because it helps to ensure that the report is clear, concise, and easy to understand. A well-structured report makes it easy for the reader to locate the information they need and understand the key points of the report. A clear and organized report also helps the reader to follow the flow of information and understand the context of the report. Additionally, a proper setup and structure is important to ensure that the report is complete and accurate. A well-structured report will include all necessary information and exclude irrelevant information, making it easy to understand and come to conclusions. This is especially important when it comes to incident reports and investigation reports, as they must be accurate and complete, and easy to read for external parties. Furthermore, a proper report setup and structure is important for incident response teams, as it allows them to document the incident in a clear and concise manner, and to make sure that all important information is included. This also helps the incident team to refresh their memory in cases of future legal proceedings. Using report templates is important because it helps to ensure consistency, organization, and efficiency in the report writing process. Report templates provide a standard format for organizing and presenting information in a report. This can help to ensure that the report is easy to read and understand for readers, and that the information presented is in a logical and consistent manner. Additionally, using a template helps to ensure that all the essential elements of a report are included. Templates provide a starting point for creating a report, which can save time and effort in organizing and formatting the report. Moreover, it helps to ensure that the report meets the specific requirements of the organization, such as including certain sections or using specific format. Report templates help to improve the quality of the report by providing guidance and structure for the report writer to ensure that all the necessary information is included and that the report is written in a clear and concise manner. Reports are typically written in the past tense because they are a record of events that already occurred. The past tense is used to describe things that have happened in the past, and it's the most appropriate tense to use when describing completed actions or events. For cybersecurity incidents, we describe things that have already happened, and a report is a detailed account of what occurred, what was done, and what we learned from the incident. Using the past tense also helps to create a clear distinction between what already occurred and what is still to come. This is important for the reader to understand the context of the report. It is also used to provide a sense of objectivity. As it is a neutral form of writing, it does not express the opinion of the writer or influence the reader's opinion. While most of the report is written in the past tense, there are some exceptions when it comes to describing situations that have not changed or general facts. In this case, present tense is used. For example, if a report is describing the current state of an ongoing situation, the report writer may use present tense to indicate that the situation is still ongoing. Another example is genders, where it's very rare that a person's gender changes, so one can state in a report, John Doe is a man. When describing general facts, present tense is also used, such as water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. It is important to write reports in a chronological order because it helps to clearly and accurately convey the sequences of events that occurred during an incident or investigation. This helps the reader to understand the context of the incident and the actions that were taken and the results of those actions. When an incident or investigation is reported in a chronological order, it allows the reader to easily follow the progression of the event and understand the cause and effect relationship of different actions. This is especially important when trying to understand the root cause of an incident or trying to determine the effectiveness of different incident response measures. A chronologically ordered report also makes it easier for the incident response team to review the investigation and remember details of the incident. This makes it helpful in cases of future legal proceedings. Chronological order is also important for court cases, as it is the standard way to present the facts of an incident. When the incident is reported in a chronological order, it makes it easier for the court to understand the sequence of events and how the incident happened. When people are first mentioned in a report, it is important to provide enough information for the reader to be able to identify who the person is and their relevance to the report. This typically includes providing the person's full name, job title or role, and any other relevant identifying information, such as their department or location. It is also important to establish the person's connection to the incident or investigation being reported on. This may include information on their role in the incident, their responsibilities within the organization, or their involvement in the investigation. This helps the reader to understand the person's relevance to the report and the context of their involvement. Additionally, it's also important to consider the way people are identified throughout the report. This includes using the same format and style when identifying people and using proper nouns consistently throughout the report. It is good practice to write a person's name in bold and last name in capital letters the first time he or she is introduced to the reader. This is an effective way to draw attention to the person's name, making it easier for the reader to identify and remember. Bolding a person's name make it stand out on the page and help the reader to quickly locate involved parties. In this slide, I've written an example, John Doe, where the whole name is in bold format and the last name is in capital letters. Capitalizing the last name of a person is useful to help the reader differentiate between the person's first name and the last name, making it easier to identify and remember the person. It may not always be easy to know what a person's last name is. In some cultures, the last name comes before the first name. Some people have a middle name and others have multiple last names. In such cases, Capitalizing the last name will clarify which part of the name is the last name and avoid confusion and ensure accurate identification. Writing names in this way ensures consistency throughout the report, making it easier for the reader to understand and follow the information. It is particularly important for incidents and investigation reports, as they are often read by multiple stakeholders, including management, legal teams, and other regulatory bodies. During an interview, it is not uncommon for a person to correct or clarify their statements. These corrections and additions can be important in understanding the context of the interview and the information provided by the interviewee. If these corrections and additions are not captured and reported accurately, it can lead to confusion or misinterpretation of the information. Having a clear and consistent method of handling corrections and additions in an interview report is important for maintaining the integrity of the report. It helps to ensure that the report accurately reflects the information provided during the interview, and that any changes are clearly identified and tracked. Documenting corrections and add-ons is also important for legal proceedings, as in some cases, the interview report is used as evidence, and it is crucial to have accurate and reliable information in the report. A clear and consistent method of handling corrections and additions can help to ensure that the report is admissible as evidence and can be used to support the organization's position in legal proceedings. There are different ways to report corrections and additions in an interview report, but it's important to use a clear and consistent method throughout the report. We recommend documenting corrections in the report itself, below the original statement in italic font. This slide shows an example. Let's imagine that this is a section in an interview report, and the original statement in the report was, the employee said that he uses the same password on multiple sites, as it finds it challenging to remember multiple passwords. When adding a correction to this statement, we put it in italic font underneath the original text. When summarizing the interview, the employee changed his initial statement about reusing passwords. He said that he has never used the same password on multiple sites. When describing people or physical objects in a report, it is important to make them easily identifiable. To achieve this, it is recommended to provide complete and accurate identifying information, such as sex, distinct features, clothing, language and accent, and other relevant identifying information. Additionally, it is important to establish if the report writer or the witness would be able to recognize the object or person if he or she saw it again. The person or object connected to the incident or investigation being reported on must be clearly established and described in the report, this so the reader can understand the relevance to the case. To make the identification even more clear, it is recommended to use a consistent formatting method. This helps the reader quickly locate and reference important individuals and objects within the report. Furthermore, it's important to use proper nouns and use them consistently throughout the report to avoid confusions and ensure accuracy. In this slide, we provided an example of a description of an unknown person in a report. This styling is what law enforcement often refer to as a 5-point description, and is used to describe people and objects that are unknown or is stolen. Let's imagine that this is from a report describing a person that was trying to gain unauthorized access to a company office. As you can see, it starts by describing the sex, stating man, normal height, approximately 180 centimeters, 30 to 35 years of age, long dark hair. Distinct features, tattoo on neck of unknown motive. Clothing, blue bomber jacket, gray jeans and white sneakers. And I know some of you will get a kick out of that. Language and accent, unknown, did not hear him speak. Would recognize, yes, the employee thinks he would recognize him if he saw him again. Sometimes there might be a need for the report writer to provide comments to what is being explained in the report. However, opinions should be kept to the minimum. It is important to make sure that opinions do not confuse the reader and that they do not replace facts. The report should focus on providing accurate and objective information that is supported by evidence, and opinions should be used to provide additional context or interpretations of the facts. Report writers' comments can be useful, and there are several situations where it may be necessary for the report writer to make comments. When additional information or context is needed, report writers' comments can provide additional information or context about the report's content, such as observations about the data or insights about the findings that may not be obvious from the data alone. When there is uncertainty in the data or findings, report writers' comments can be used to express uncertainty or provide explanations for unexpected or unusual results. When the report writer has experience in a specific area, report writers' comments can be used to provide specialized knowledge or expertise that is not otherwise represented in the report. When the report writer wants to provide recommendations or suggestions, report writers' comments can be used to provide recommendations or suggestions for further investigation, or provide guidance on how the findings should be interpreted. When the report writer wants to share a personal perspective, report writers' comments can be used to share a personal perspective, but only if it's clearly labeled as an opinion and it does not replace facts. It is important to keep in mind that report writers' comments should be relevant to the report and should be used to provide additional information or context that is not already represented in the report. Additionally, the comments should be written in a clear and concise manner and should not confuse the reader. If an opinion is represented, it must be made clear to the reader that this is the report writer's own opinion. The report must clearly distinguish between facts and opinions, so the reader understands the basis of the writer's perspective. This can be done by clearly labeling the opinions as such, or by using phrases such as "in my opinion" or "it is believed that" to indicate that the statement is an opinion. When labeling, it is our recommendation to use parentheses and end the statement with the report writer's initials, as shown in the example here. In the example, there's parentheses. The report writer can confirm that this is a common way of handling password changes in our organization, RB, for Roy Borgen, parenthesis end. Labeling in this way helps to clearly separate what is an opinion and the facts of the case. When a report is written, it should be signed by the document author. A signature on a report is important because it helps to ensure the authenticity and integrity of the report. A signature serves as an indication that the person who has signed the report has reviewed and approved it and is responsible for the content of the report. It confirms that the report is accurate, complete, and has been reviewed and approved by the appropriate parties. Furthermore, a signature also serves as a form of authentication, helping to ensure that the report has not been altered or tampered with after it was signed. This is particularly important for legal proceedings, where the authenticity of the report may be called into question. Having a signature on a report can also indicate who is responsible for any errors or omissions in the report, which is important for accountability and transparency. Report writing is a crucial skill in the field of cybersecurity and various other industries. By understanding the fundamentals of report writing and learning how to effectively structure and present information, one can ensure clear and accurate documentation of security incidents. Remember, practice makes perfect, and with time and experience, you will become more proficient in writing reports. So take the knowledge you gained from this lesson and start putting it into practice. My name is Roy Borgen. I'm the founder and CEO of ShieldTech. I hope you found this lesson useful. If you have any questions to this lesson, please email us on info@shieldtech.no. Thank you for joining this training, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.